tifu na ukamilifu wa mapaji yake 7, kumfanya Mkristo mkamilifu na kumfanya shahidi hodari wa Yesu Kristo mpaka kufa.
Kupata kipaimara kama Skiza Tune yako, tuma neno Skiza likifuatwa na nambari 738100272 kwa 811.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands, or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days and seek immediate medical attention or report to the nearest health center. This message has been brought to you by the government of Kenya and its partners. For accurate information on COVID-19, dial *719# or call 719. Follow us on Twitter at @MOH_Kenya, at spokesperson GOK, at WHO.
For those of us who have visited physicians or medical doctors, for different kinds of illnesses and diseases, you probably will be prescribed exercise as if it is a medication today, And some people believe that engaging in daily exercise is very healthy and can prevent physical and mental health challenges. And of course, we also believe it can prolong your life. So you need to go around the city today, especially maybe around Karen here or Westland, and you begin to see people, whether early in the morning or late in the evening, you see people taking a walk, or they are jogging, or they are walking, or they are cycling. This may not be found in the upcountry or village or in the villages. However, today, we'll be looking at physical exercise and your health. Physical exercises and your health. My name is Joyce Pius Egujobi, and welcome to Capuchin Broadcasting Television, or Ministry Television, called Capuchin TV. And then, of course, to this program, which we call Taking Care of Your Bios or Your Psycho-Spiritual Well-Being, is a program that we run every Thursday from 2:30 Eastern African Time. So when we talk about exercise, of course, we are not all alien to what is called exercise. We know what it is. And of course, for the sake of definition, you can say exercise is a bodily or mental exertion, especially for the sake of training or improving one's health. Also, it can be thought of as something done or performed as a means of practice or training. And for example, when you are practicing how to play guitar or piano, or you are practicing how to do some other things that are skillful to you. However, today, I'll be talking about bodily or mental exertion, which we say especially for the sake of training or improving your physical, mental, relational. And when I talk about relational here, I'm talking about your relationship with people or relationship with technology that, like a treadmill and whatever, or your, aerobics or whatever we use. And of course, of taking care of your spiritual health. You see, like today too, I dress like I'm going to make a jog. After here, I'm going to take some running to keep fit. So exercise or fitness, as we know it, it seems to be a relatively modern invention, something that started vaguely in the 1970s, and with people jogging and jazzling, but physical exercise obviously goes back much further than that time, to a time where people wouldn't even have thought of it as working out or as cycling or as jogging or whatever it is. They will not think about that. And again, it's as old as humanity. So because the strength and the mobility of early men in those days was not developed through structured program like we have today. The other day I went to one of the gym there, and they were asking me to pay like about 1,500 per day. I'm like, wow. So I use about 700 or 800 to eat, and I need about 1,500 to shed it. That's a lot. So in those days they don't do that because what we talk about, because people are at that time, they do a lot of things that actually could. They don't have to go for gym, they go for exercises. So like I was saying, so the early man, they don't have what they call a structured program today, or the methods or schedules, but rather they were forged by the daily incentives, necessarily driven practice of highly practical, adaptable movement skills. Talk about farmers. Do you want to tell a farmer? People in the village right there who are actually working hard every day. Do you, after going to work in the morning, they come back late at night, but they work all day. You want to tell them to go for gym for what? Or they're like a hunter, gatherer. Do you want to tell the person who's actually moving around the bush, looking for what to kill, to go for gym? Or you want to tell somebody like a bricklayer who is busy carrying cement, carrying, loads and of course bricks and a lot of things. Those people do much more than what people even pay to get when you go to the gym. So what are we talking about? They will have no idea of what they call about fitness. We talk about our workout. We talk about today because the kind of exercises we talk about today, because this is what they do naturally, and it was deeply ingrained in their everyday lives. So our desires for comfort and enjoyment through innovations, technological advancement, have fluent eating and drinking, eating chicken, red meat, black meat, yellow meat, and every good thing you can talk about. Well, they sound nice and people call them enjoyment, but talk about it, think about it. Many times they are not good for us. You want to buy something in nearby, maybe you live in around Karen here, and you want to go to the shopping mall, and we just talk about have a mile walk or have a kilometer walk, and you have to go into your car. You have to drive that down there. You want to take your garbage, for whatever from the house, from your garage, and then you put the garbage inside your car, and you have to drag the car out of your garage outside and then lift the garbage back into the front of the house for it to be picked up. Of course, what is our lifestyle today? From your house, you enter your car. From your car, you get to the office. from the office also, instead of going through the stairs to the second, third, fourth floor where you work, you want to go with the elevator, and then by the time you get there, you are walking around in your office on a scooter. Or if you are not walking around, you are seated all day at work. We are not doing our physical exercises. No time for exercise to exercise your body. No time to walk through a lot of things in your system to relax. Of course, I know you are engaged mentally because you are doing a lot of work, but your body needs to exercise. We are not created to just sit in one place. We are created to move around, to do work that keeps our body fit. So, exercise is very good. I can tell you that. It is good for your physical health in terms of keeping you fit, burning the fats in your tummy, in your leg, whatever parts it is in your system. Of course, helps your heart beat, to beat probably because you are often also taking in a lot of oxygen into your brain, and that is relaxing your brain. So it's even good for your mental health. It can help you to deal with your depression or your anxiety on a psychological level. And talk about it. It is also good for your relational health because sometimes if you want to work out or you want to cycle, you want to go on a bicycle to move around, or you want to jog, you can do it with your family or friends. And by the time that time of doing exercise together is, bonding you. And sometimes it can even make you to relate very well with you, people who are even on there outside of your physical self, visually, by, you can do aerobics. And then you join many others who are doing exercises to keep fit. So it can actually help your relationship with others, physically and technologically. And of course, for your spiritual wellness, it is so nice because it makes you to connect with your world, to find meaning and purpose in life. And of course, meaning and purpose for hiking, for doing this or that, to keep fit. And of course, it can even help you to pray well, because sometimes when you are doing exercises and you are praying, you are in the right position. You enjoy what you do at that time. So while sporting and going to gyms is very good to maintain physical fitness and general well-being, we must know that also too much of it is not good. It can be something problematic sometimes. You can become obsessed with it. You can become addicted to it. So when you start doing too much of exercises, or what you call extreme exercise, it can actually have an adverse effect on you. First, it can actually lead you to what they call physical burnout. It can call you hormonal dysfunction because the stress hormones, especially the cortisol and the epinephrine, can be affected. They become dysfunctional. Of course, can also lead to anorexia, where your over-exercises becomes too much, that you are losing weight so much that you become so skinny. And you become so skinny, you still see yourself as fat. That's a problem, It can impair your metabolism. Can also be, it's a poor immunity because you lose your immunity. You have to know that too. We'll talk about that later. And of course, it can increase your cardiovascular stress. When we come back, we look more at what it can do, physical health can do to us. And because we just need to do the moderate or well-regulated exercise of about 30 to 60 minutes a day. But when we come back, we look at it, especially during this time of COVID, how exercises can be of help or can hinder us. Stay tuned.
The Psychospiritual Therapy Institute, which we of the Luke Stera Leadership Foundation, in collaboration with Miss Joachim, have set up, is a project that I am very excited about, and I am very happy that I am part of the birthing of this project. It is aimed at healing of pastoral agents that run into problem on account of widespread trauma, on account of burnout, on account of addictions, and all kinds of problems that pastoral agents do have. But with this project of the Psychospiritual Institute, we shall now be training experts in psychospiritual therapy who will be available in various countries, various dioceses and congregations to help their colleagues who are in difficult life situations of an emotional and psychological nature.
Ministry Capuchin TV, and to this program taking care of your psycho-spiritual well-being. Today we've been talking about exercises, to keep fit. And I ended up, apart from saying a lot of things, that in those days we don't really do all these things because we do a lot of work. Our comfort life this day have made us to be, not doing enough to the level that when you go to the hospital, one of the things they will be recommended for you to do, as if they are recommending medication for you, is to do a lot of exercises. And before we went on break, I was talking about that too much the extreme exercises can actually have adverse effects on you. Meaning it's not too good for you because it can cause a lot of things. Instead of doing you good, it can actually wear you out, like it can cause you physical burnout. We talk about even people who are psychologically sick when it comes to doing exercise because they want to look, to keep fit, so they take it to the other extreme when they are skinny, that you can practically see their bones, and they'll still look at themselves in the mirror and tell you that they are too fat. We call that anorexia nervosa. People actually is a mental disorder. Your exercises need not to take you to that level. And of course, we say that they can even impair your metabolism, the way your body actually regulates itself. And of course, we know that also that it can, impair a little bit or can grant you what we call poor immunity. And then, of course, can increase what we call the cardiovascular stress and many other things. So, however, moderate and well-regulated exercises, that's very good for us if you can do it daily or 2, 3, 4, 5 times daily, especially when you can do like up to 30 to 60 minutes a day, is well recommended. So that at the end of the week, you must have done about 1,000, they said, minutes of walking around. It keeps you healthy. During this COVID-19, of course, we need to talk about that too. People talk about, can someone doing physical exercises contact COVID-19? Of course, yes. That is very possible, especially when you are doing it and you are walking around people and then you are not using your face mask, or you are touching places, you are not washing your hands, and then you are not keeping physical distance. You can, like any other person, be infected. And of course, there are a lot of data to suggest that marathon runners, and others who engage in extreme endurance events may actually have some inhibition of their immune function after training or completing at a high level. Just like I said earlier, that extreme physical exercises can actually affect your immune system, and that is what those researchers have talked about. And because there are more the people who are like marathon runners and those who do rigorous training, they are more at risk of cold and flu than those who exercise at moderate level. And of course, we know that for that reason, there has been some concern and recommendations suggesting that extreme endurance training and events should be avoided during this pandemic. Okay, notwithstanding, there's this person, Dr. David Perloff, who actually is the president of the Florida chapter of American College of Cardiology. He said that about 20 to 30% of COVID patients experience cardiovascular and pulmonary effects like chest discomfort, shortness of breath, palpitations, and even fever. So if you have cardiovascular symptoms, for example, Perloff says, you need to seek medical attention prior to exercising. And if you have a true cardiovascular complications like cardiomyopathy, congestive heart failure, or arrhythmia, and so on, you may have to try not to exercise for 3 to 6 months at all, because you can drop dead, and we don't want you dead at this time. However, a study which analyzed the COVID-19 outcomes in nearly 50,000 Californians who received their health care at Kaiser Permanente in Southern California found that patients who were consistently inactive and more than twice the risk, had more, had more than twice the risk of being hospitalized and of dying compared to those who had consistently followed physical activity guidelines. And this report was actually published recently in the British Journal of Sport Medicine. So for them, they were saying that the main thing in the study is that physical activity is the biggest modifiable risk factor for severe COVID outcomes, such as the chance of being hospitalized, being sent to the intensive care unit, or dying. According to Dr. Salis, he said that we need to watch it. So this was about 2 days ago. Actually, I read that 2 days ago in this news course today of April 20, 2021. And just yesterday, guess what? There was another report of a study on the Sky News, and other news network. And what were they saying? They were saying that they come to the level to say that there's a link between exercise and COVID immunity. That people need to be doing 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, or 150 minutes weekly, weekly of exercises, and then that can get them at least slightly out of breath. So 30 minutes a day, like I said, 5 days a week, and 150 minutes a week of exercise can actually help you in a way. So the study was carried out by the international team of researchers led by Glasgow Caledonian University, GCU, and it was found that physical activity can also make vaccine that we are taking right now up to 40% more effective that when you still do physical exercises, it can result in a 31% decrease in the risk of infectious disease such as COVID-19 that we are talking about, that also can result in a 37% decrease in the risk of death as a consequence of infectious disease like COVID-19. And of course, we talk also, according to that study, it says that it can also increase the efficacy of vaccination against viral diseases such as COVID-19. That just came out yesterday, April 21, 2021. So according to the research leader is a professor called Sebastian Justin, he said this study, they found that physical activity strengthens the first line of defense of the human immune system and the higher concentrations of immune cells. Different from the one I was talking about that we say that when you do the rigorous exercises, it can actually affect you. So when you do it moderately and appropriately, you can actually boost your immune system instead of jeopardizing them. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, when so much of us are very restricted in our movements, the lockdown is there, the social distances is there, and many times you are just at home because you are working from home and you are going to school from home, you are glued to the internet, you are sitting, and I can tell you honestly, yes, by sitting down just on the computer teaching students, I found that, I don't know whether other people are experiencing this, I found that I am more stressed and become very fatigued much more than when I'm teaching physically, moving around in the class and interacting with the students. Of course, I'm also interacting virtually, but I get more tired, more drained, mentally drained, physically drained, and almost getting to the level of losing interest. So what we are saying is that exercise is very good for us. Basically because we don't do it anymore. We are too comfortable. We want comfort. We want to be carried to everywhere. You want to drive in your car 24/7 instead of moving around with our legs, going to places, going to the market, carrying things, carrying baby car. We want too comfortable. Too much of comfort actually is not good to our health. When we need those comfort, we need to also actually exercise our bodies so that we can be physically, mentally, spiritually, and socially actually be healthy. So, like I said, for those of us still fearful about this COVID-19, you are just being told right now that moderate exercises daily, 20-30 minutes every day, actually can help you to combat COVID-19 because it can develop your immune system. And however, when you have a problem with your heart or the breathing or formally, you need to be more careful. Once again, my name is Joyce Pio Segunjobi, and this is a Catholic Broadcasting Ministry, Capuchin TV, on this program, taking care of your psycho-spiritual well-being. I see you next week when we'll be talking about another topic entirely. God bless you.